guys, welcome back to my channel. It has been a few weeks, but here is my update for weeks 32, 33, and 34. Guys, I have been MIA for the last few weeks. I just have not felt good. I am in like the home stretch of this pregnancy, and it's just been like kicking my butt lately. I have been on bed rest for the last few weeks, and I thought by being on bed rest I'd have more time to like dedicate to these videos and updating you guys, but to be fair, I just haven't felt up to it. So here I am today. Hopefully I can get through a quick update of the last 3 weeks and fill you guys in. In terms of symptoms the last 3 weeks, it's been a lot of the same over the 3 weeks, but it has definitely intensified, such as heartburn. It gets really bad when I lay down, especially on my right side. It's not as bad on my left, so I try to lay on my left anyway because that's the best position to sleep in. Tired. I am crazy tired again, just like as much as I felt tired in the beginning of this pregnancy, back at it. So not sleeping as well at night. Some nights are good, some nights are bad, but I do tend to at least take a nap during the day. Some days I'm just, like the days I go to the doctor's office, I'm so tired just from that one outing that I crash when I get home. So I know it's just in preparation for Milo's arrival, so I'm taking advantage of being able to nap when I can. I am so uncomfortable. I will give you guys a belly shot at the end of this video, but you will see that he has just gotten big and there's just a lot of pressure. I'm pretty sure he's dropped down this past week, which I feel a lot of pressure on my bladder, causing me to have more frequent bathroom trips, which I was getting used to not going as much. But now I go and it's not even that much that comes out, but it's just enough pressure to constantly feel the need to go. Also, there's just a lot of pressure on my pelvis, which is really uncomfortable and it's sort of painful. It's mostly towards the front. I'm not having the back pain and booty pain as much as I was in the previous weeks, which is awesome, but the pressure is pretty intense. And again, just laying down mostly on my left side tends to just take that pressure off. And these last few symptoms I know are pregnancy related, but they also could be related to my PIH, which is pregnancy-induced hypertension that I have, or gestational hypertension. Basically, that's the precursor to preeclampsia, which I'm being monitored for, but I have had an increase in swelling in my hands. You can see they're really puffy and big. I can't wear my ring. My face is very puffy and swollen, as well as my like ankles and feet. Not so much my ankles and feet, which is good for now. I can still fit in shoes, and but I notice if I wear socks and go to take them off, there's like definitely a defined mark of where my sock was. And then my blood pressure's been high, as you guys have followed me on Instagram, which I will post here if you would like to follow me there. I actually have a new account on Instagram, more related specifically to the pregnancy rather than just my daily life and family life. So if you guys want to follow me there, you can do that. But yeah, so it seems like almost every time I've gone to the doctor, my blood pressure's been high. I have been tracking it at home as well. It doesn't seem to be as high when I'm not as active, which is why I'm on bed rest, but I have had some increased readings at home as well. But those two things could be related just to the hypertension. Tuesday was our maternal fetal medicine appointment. It's at a different facility, but that was our specialist ultrasound to look at Milo's heart because of the arrhythmia. Basically, all the doctors have said that most babies grow out of this either before birth or at birth or shortly after, but it was always good to check anyway, just to make sure there's no abnormalities with his heart. So we had a really in-depth ultrasound done there by both an ultrasound tech and the doctor, and they determined that all his body parts looked perfect. His heart was structurally perfect. They could hear the arrhythmia there, which I was obviously don't want to hear it, but I'm glad that they did hear it there so that they knew that it was a legitimate thing. But she had no concerns about his heart or development or anything like that. They did measure him, and I think I was 32 and a half weeks then, and he was measuring like 34 and a half weeks, so roughly 2 weeks ahead, and just over 5 pounds, so pretty big. November 7th and November 10th, we had again NSTs at the doctor's office. Ironically, we did not hear the arrhythmia at all at either of those appointments, which was awesome. My blood pressure was a little elevated on both, but not enough to really cause for concern to send me over to the hospital, thankfully. So I got to skip those 2 visits. But the NSTs were fine, the appointments were fine. And my last visit in this 3-week period was yesterday, November 14th. That was another scheduled NST at my doctor's office, and I was there for quite a while this time. Usually he passes within like that 20-minute period of monitoring. This time it took almost double the amount of time to get the number of accelerated heart rates, which I don't think they were super concerned about. It just took longer. Someone has the hiccups. So I was there for about 45 minutes before they ever took my blood pressure, which usually they try to take your blood pressure sort of after you've been there for a while and you're settled and you're calm. But this time it was high again. It was like 158/88, which isn't as high as it's been in the past. And this time I felt pretty good too. I haven't really had any symptoms of nausea or blurry vision like I have had at some of the other visits that might indicate preeclampsia. So I was surprised, but she did send me back over to the hospital again yesterday for more lab work and another urine sample. Again, my labs are okay. My blood pressure was still high again at the hospital, but unless your labs really kind of accompany the high blood pressure, they're not super concerned. So as a result, my OB to the office for my NSTs from here on out, she just thinks we should just go to the hospital and do them there since she's sending me there once a week anyway. So starting this Thursday, instead of going to the doctor's office, I'll go over to the hospital and have one done. And basically they told me yesterday that as long as the NST is okay and my blood pressure reading there is okay, I won't have to necessarily do the blood work. So fingers crossed I won't have to do that, but we'll see. But at least I'll be there in case something is off. I'll already be checked in. So also at yesterday's appointment, I did talk to her about a birth plan. I did not do a birth plan for Jackson. I don't know if I was just young and naive and didn't know about one or didn't find one necessary. I don't know. Didn't have one. Went awry with Jackson's birth that I could have controlled anyway. So I didn't feel obligated, but I did talk to her about it this time to see if scheduled C-section patients have birth plans. She said not typically, but they do offer a gentle C-section. I think I have talked about this before. Basically, having skin to skin in the operating room was important to me, and that's part of how they do it. They turn the lights down low, they put music on to sort of relax the mom. She told me yesterday that they also have a clear drape that once they cut you open and kind of get everything ready and they're about to pull the baby out, then they drop the blue drape so that you can see your baby being delivered. I didn't get to do that with Jackson, so I really want to do that this time. Josh, when I mentioned it to him, wasn't super keen on it. When I had Jackson, I was consoling him in the operating room because he was so freaked out by everything. So yesterday he was a little concerned about seeing them cut me open, and I said, no, they don't do that. You'll just basically get to see him come out, and he said he thinks he can handle that. And then Also, I couldn't remember if Josh cut the umbilical cord for Jackson. So I asked him the other day. He said no. And she confirmed that while they don't have the dads cut it at the operating table because that is like a sterile field, they cut a certain amount from the placenta, and then once they bring the baby over to the little monitoring station, they involve the dad in like the clamping and the cutting, like right next to baby's body. So Josh said he does want to do that, so I think that'll be really fun. Lastly, she said that normally once they get the baby cleaned up, baby goes out of the operating room with dad back to the room, and then family and friends or whoever's there can come to the room and see the baby. I didn't want this to happen because we have waited forever for this moment to happen, to give Jackson a sibling, and so it was really important for me to witness that. So basically she just said to let her know, which obviously I did yesterday, but then also to remind the nursing staff the day of the C-section that the baby could go back with dad, but maybe not to like notify anybody waiting at the hospital, like my parents and Jackson, until I've been brought back to the room. That way I can experience everybody meeting Milo for the first time. So that's really it for weeks 32, 33, and 34. I'll be 35 weeks tomorrow. I can't believe it. Today is November the 15th, which means 30 days or less. My C-section is scheduled for December the 15th. He could come earlier. We'll see. I don't know. I'm ready for him, I think, at this point. We'll just see how much longer he wants to hang out in there. But thank you guys for watching, and here's a belly shot.